Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another Hannibal reaction video. So today, finally, we're going to be starting season 3 of Hannibal. For those of you guys that did not watch my recent Expanse season 4 episode 9 video, I mentioned that you know, as you guys know, I have a lot of chronic health issues and various other things that have been happening, which definitely delayed me with starting season 3 for a while, but I'm excited to get back into it, especially considering the insane way that season 2 ended. This also, if you didn't know, is kind of my new filming setup. It's my original location, but with a variety of modifications. We've got a different camera, we've got a different microphone, obviously got some lights and some different decorations, and I'm going to be using a new software for editing, so it's going to hopefully change some of the quality of some things going forward. It took me a little while to get everything assembled, so that also was a bit of a delay. Unfortunately, I also purchased a nice ring light, which was going to really help a lot, even more than these little lights with lighting and creating a nice little relaxing mood. But I also have 2 new kittens who I'm taking care of currently, and you may even end up seeing 1 or 2 of them on camera. Sometimes they like to jump up here, but they decided that the cord was a string and they chewed through it and destroyed it. So I'm currently waiting for a new one to arrive. So for the time being, the lighting is not exactly how it's going to be in the end, but hopefully this isn't too much of an issue for you guys. I know everybody just really wants to get into season 3, myself included. So just so you guys know, because I did see some comments about this, I was given the heads up after the fact that there was a kind of end scene of the finale of season 2, so I did go back and watch that. I did see Hannibal on the plane with Bedelia, which was, what the hell? What is she doing? I mean, my mind was kind of blown about that, because that was the last thing that I would have expected. So in the aftermath of the just utter bloodbath that Hannibal leaves on his way to flee, now that it's been revealed officially who he is to all, somehow he meets back up with Bedelia, who previously had been with the FBI and cooperating with them, or planning to cooperate with them against Hannibal, though she didn't seem very optimistic about their chances. But somehow he meets back up with her, and not only does he not kill her, even though we had seen previously that he was intending to kill her, but somehow they decide to go away together. And I don't know how this came about, but it's crazy. I don't know how it's going to turn out, but it's certainly something I didn't see coming. But at the same time, I can't be disappointed, because, I mean, does this just mean we're going to get more Gillian Anderson this season? Who could complain about that, right? So I'm excited about that. I'm very curious to see who is still standing, who is alive, and the long-term consequences of what Hannibal did there. I think it's pretty clear that Abigail is dead again. And Will is obviously still alive. I'm assuming that Jack is alive, because I feel like that would be just such a major change, though they did kill Chilton, so what the... I don't know. Yeah, so I don't know. That just leaves Alana, and I don't know. I feel like she could go either way. I feel like they left her looking in a position where she maybe could survive that fall out the window. She was still sort of talking and looking around. Wasn't bleeding out everywhere the way that Jack and Abigail and Will were. But at the same time, if they were going to kill more than one character, if they were going to kill someone other than Abigail, it would have to be her. So I don't know. I'm worried. I'm worried about her, but... Alright, so let's get into it, right? Let's start season 3 of Hannibal. I'm excited. I know you guys are excited. That finale is going to be difficult to live up to, but I'm very curious to see what's going to be going down this season now that it's totally out in the open that Hannibal is not just the Chesapeake Ripper, but this cannibalistic serial killer. Now it's public knowledge. He's no longer putting up any kind of facade, really. So I really am curious to see the transition happening on screen. So, all right, let's do it. Season 3, Episode 1. Here we go. Oh my god. Immediately hunting someone down, immediately cooking someone. Welcome! Welcome back to Hannibal, everybody. Bruh. In his own house? Like, was that the dude's wife that he just killed? And, I mean, was he just gonna kill her too? He obviously, you know, put it on display for her to find. And, oh, flashy back. Hey, look! We're wearing, like, the same pajamas. Gideon. Gideon and I are wearing the same pajamas, guys. Like, it's legit. Look at it. Literally is the same.
Certainly seem to enjoy it. Click in your hoof. Evelyn's been a yoke in the neck of humanity since we first began to think of you. I, from what shows, you admit the yoke. Smells of candy apples and thyme. Smoked glazed, served on a sugarcane core.
How long did he keep Gideon alive for?
Professor Soliato?
My killing Suliato now would not preserve the peace.
Now, though.
Your peace is without morality.
Mm-hmm. This is fascinating.
Morality doesn't exist. Only morale.
How you feel today?
How do you feel today?
I still believe I am in conscious control of my actions. Given your history, that's a good day.
All right, so she thinks that he's not manipulating her. At least not completely. But she also thinks that could happen at any moment, and it's happened before, because, I mean, we all know what he did to Will and Abigail, and everyone around him. But what is she doing there?
I am still alive.
Will Graham was not a suitable substitute for therapy.
What was he?
Is this professional curiosity?
Almost entirely.
Do you trust me?
What kind of question is
Not
that?
entirely.
If taken into consideration my beliefs about your intentions,
My intentions.
human motivation can be little more than lucid greed.
Greed. And blind optimism.
You're optimistic I won't kill you.
Fascinating.
They prefer eating in company. I've kept Cochlear Garden since I was a young man. Fattening snails on herbs and vine leaves. Like all of us, what they eat greatly influences and enhances their flavor.
When I'm not busy eating myself, you wish me to be eating oysters, drinking sweet wines, and snacking on acorns. All to make me tastier?
Oh, yes. And you're making them tastier.
And you. Imagine what you must taste like.
This is
Won't be
insane.
long until someone's taking a bite out of you.
You're becoming brighter, Abel. Dying hasn't dulled you one bit.
Oh my god.
The snails are certainly having a lovely experience. Fattened on me in a red wine marinade. They have no idea they're going to be eaten. We do.
Wanna sit up?
Wait, you're not. He's not killing him? He's obviously going to kill him. He knows he's not.
We let him go.
Yeah, I'm equally baffled.
What would you have me do, Bedelia?
Oh my god.
Dr. Fair is a friend of yours?
I was his TA at Cambridge. The tales I could tell.
Interesting.
Please do.
What kind of friend would I be?
What kind of friend, indeed?
This guy is making a
Doctor.
fucking mistake right now, okay? He's thinking he's gonna play some kind of game and he's just gonna get killed. Like, that was your chance, sir. That was your chance. You fucked up.
What?
Are you, in this very moment, observing or participating?
Observing.
You say you're observing, but this is participation, Bedelia. Did you know what he would do? I would prefer you answer honestly.
I was curious.
You were curious what would happen. You're curious what Mr. Dimmond would do. What I would do. Did you anticipate our thoughts? Counter thoughts, rationalizations.
Yes.
Is this what you expected?
Yes.
That's participation. What have you gotten yourself into, Bedelia? Shall I hang up your coat?
Far more powerful. Why do you think I'm allowing this?
Why do you think I'm allowing this?
Because snails aren't the only creatures who prefer eating with company. If only that company could be Will Graham. I'm just fascinated to know how you will feel when all this happens to you.
Interesting. What is that? I'm not quite sure where to start. Okay, no, I do know. I know. Before I actually get into discussing the show, just want to quickly say, you probably noticed, I'm guessing anyway, a change in sound levels and perhaps appearance of the actual episode itself. Basically what happened is, after a couple minutes, I know you guys probably heard at the beginning I was saying it's really quiet, I can't really hear it very well, and I was trying to turn it up and that wasn't working. I don't know what it was, but Amazon for some reason was being extremely quiet, so I ended up shutting it off and then going onto Netflix, where Hannibal is also now, and starting up the episode there to see if it was any better, and it was. I could hear it a lot better, so probably you'll be able to hear it a lot better too. So the first few minutes were Amazon and it was too quiet, and then I switched, and that's why there was a slight difference that you may be seeing now after the fact. So anyway, now that technical stuff is past, to the episode. Alright, so, I said at the beginning I was very curious about what the hell Bedelia was doing with him in that after credits clip from the end of season 2, and interestingly enough, they pretty much devoted this entire first episode of this season to that dynamic, to his dynamic with Bedelia now, as well as flashbacks to his past dynamic with Gideon while he was in the process of, eating him, and with her when she ended up being manipulated into killing her patient, which was, kind of a foundational moment in their relationship in the first place. So one thing I wanted to touch upon that I kind of mentioned during the episode was that, again, as always, I like the way that they incorporate storylines from the books, but they adjust them a little bit to put their own spins on them. So besides the fact that Bedelia is present, which obviously is a big change from the Hannibal in Italy after everyone knows who he is storyline from the books, they very much shifted the timeline too, because, in the books, if you read the book Hannibal, Hannibal is in Italy, he is going through this impersonation routine, he does have to get that presentation, he is eventually found out, but it isn't Will that is actually involved in trying to catch Hannibal at that point in time. It's Clarice, who is not a character on the show. In the book timeline, Will realized who Hannibal was, that he was a serial killer. Hannibal almost killed Will in the process, as we did see in the show, but in a different way. But Hannibal is caught and then put in prison, and then later he escapes, which we see in Silence of the Lambs, and then it's Clarice that is in the process of looking for him, as well as Mason Verger, who maybe we'll see more of this season, since that was an element of the previous season. So they've shifted it here in time, and then they've added in Bedelia as well to make it a bit of a different circumstance, but still drawing in elements of that storyline, which I really like. I also briefly touched upon how it seems that the show has become even more theatrical, or grand in kind of the way it's filmed, the way everything is presented, and part of that is just likely the setting. They have Hannibal in his luxuriousness in Italy, and kind of the perfect place for him to be, right? Living it up in this grand style, and you have him dancing in a ballroom with Bedelia all decked out, and you have her in that insanely cool blue trench coat and hat, going and buying oysters and truffles and wine and all that sort of thing that Hannibal would love. So you have the opulence, but even in terms of what's focused on and how it's filmed, and I feel like maybe this stylistic choice has to do with the fact that this episode was so much focused on not just what Hannibal's doing, but like Hannibal's experience and Hannibal now coming out of his person suit, you know, as he said to Bedelia, him revealing himself and just being himself. Although he did put on a different person suit in pretending to be Dr. Fell, so interestingly enough, so he hasn't really quite totally stepped out into the light, but yeah, it seems like since he's not, you know, totally hiding anymore, maybe that's kind of playing into how it's being filmed too, which is interesting, and I like what they're doing there so far. One thing, we didn't find out who lived and who died because this was totally centered on Hannibal and Bedelia, so I still don't know if Alana is alive. Technically, I don't know if Jack is alive, though I believe he is. And again, I'm sure Abigail is dead and Will is alive, but... So we didn't find any of that out. We didn't find out exactly what happened in the aftermath, except that Hannibal went to Bedelia's house to shower, where she encountered him, which only would have happened if she intentionally left from the FBI headquarters and went home. And I'm curious if it was, like, what was the sequence of events? Did she find out what had happened to Jack and everyone trying to confront Hannibal, and then she left and went there with the knowledge that, okay, he's probably going to be here, he's gotten away? Or did she leave before actually hearing that established because she just assumed that Hannibal was going to win anyway? I'm really very, very interested to find out about this. But anyway, so point is, she goes, there he is, and one of the interesting things for me throughout this episode was trying to figure out exactly what she was doing with him. What is she doing with him? And I guess the conclusion that I have to draw, that I was kind of building up throughout the episode, is that she decided that maybe this was her only option if she wanted to live. She came to the conclusion that, alright, he was gonna kill me anyway. I can't just, you know, run from him forever. He'll just find me, and, you know, what can I do with my life then anyway? I can't, you know, actively manipulate him. People who've tried to do it in the past, it's failed, and instead they get manipulated by him in turn. But maybe what I can do is try to become interesting to him again. You know, if Will is gonna be out of the picture now, he's gonna need something or somebody to interest him, to talk to. He's gonna want that. You know, he tried to make me that person in the past. He pushed me to try to kill somebody, and I did. So maybe I can get him interested in me again, and, you know, that can at least keep me alive. And so then, you know, while this is happening, while I'm living, I'll try to just not focus on the things that he's doing and not let myself maybe lose control again and be totally like his puppet again. I'll try to focus on that, just focus on staying alive, focus on that. So in my opinion, that's probably why she's there, because she figures that's my only option, otherwise I'm dead. Why he decided to bring her along and make her a part of this, again, it's probably, I mean, she's probably right. He wanted somebody to, you know, as Gideon was saying, to share meals with, to talk to, somebody to see him without the person suit. That's what he wanted Will to be. He was getting kind of a little bit of a taste of that with Gideon there while he was slowly eating him. But of course, all things had to come to an end, and eventually at a certain point, you know, Gideon's not going to be able to continue living if you're cutting off pieces of him and feeding them to him. And so he was hoping that Will, and, you know, with Abigail as kind of like this gift to Will, that the three of them could be this little group. He had these big plans, he had these ideas, and it didn't work out, and he attacked and killed some of them and tried to kill others of them. And so now he's gonna, I guess, settle maybe for Bedelia being that person, not the person he would have maybe chosen. But he can have some sort of companionship of somebody who knows what he is. He's still gonna be manipulating, I'm sure, but again, it just seems like it's one of those things where it can only last as long as he feels entertained and, you know, personally satisfied. And she is presented in such a way where she's the type of person where he'd find her presence, you know, aesthetically and intellectually pleasing. So he can also find her as kind of useful, as, you know, she's filling this wife role. And so I guess that makes sense, you know. And again, going back to what Gideon was saying to him about his need for this sort of someone to talk to, this companionship, that's what's going on. But she clearly, as we see throughout the episode, is utterly terrified throughout this entire process, and he is trying to push her to this participation that he spoke about. I don't know, he wants her to, I guess, want to participate with him, probably, but I don't see if that's ever gonna happen. And she's saying, when she's in the bathtub scene, you know, I still think I'm in control. But how in control really is she of anything that's happening? I don't know. But very curious going forward. I mean, that one guy made a huge fucking mistake. He should have just been like, hey, that's not Dr. Fell. I don't know who the hell this guy is. I saw him talking to him before. I met him once. He's impersonating him. And then, you know, maybe you'd still be alive today if you hadn't been like, ooh, a mystery. Maybe he got killed. Maybe I could figure out something cool that's happening here. Ooh, no. Now you're just dead and eaten like everybody else. And probably the basis for that whatever was made out of body parts that we saw at the end that Hannibal was putting together. And that's the other thing that I just very briefly want to state before I wrap this up, is I'm very curious as to what Hannibal was doing there, because if the intention is to go and hide out in Italy and become this doctor and live this opulent life without fear of having to be imprisoned, how is it going to help you to put out these displayed dead people like you did when you were the Chesapeake Ripper? That's just going to call attention to you. So I guess, you know, maybe he's starting to get a bit bored already with the Bedelia and on the run situation, and he's calling out to let everyone know, hey, I'm still out here and you can try and come and hunt me. And so be very curious to see how that plays out going forward. And I assume that will be the catalyst to bring Will and Jack and anybody else that is still alive back into the story going forward. So fingers crossed that Alana's not dead. But alright guys, I'm gonna wrap this up here. Very good start to season 3. I feel like I'm super interested to see where we are going to go with the story for the rest of these episodes. So thank you so much for joining me. Like I said, hopefully next time we'll have the other ring light in place and I'll just go straight to Netflix so we won't have that quietness at the beginning. But yeah, again, thank you for joining me. Hopefully I will see you next time. Bye.